My name is John Higginson, and I paddled out to an island in St. Augustine with a bunch of mangrove trees. The paddle over was really rough because it's super windy. Yeah, it was like the worst I've ever been in my kayak, which is over there. Way over there. I'm not filming over there though because I am not alone on this island. Right as I got here, a redneck couple showed up, and yeah, I don't really want to be doing this in front of them. But yeah, last time when I came here, this is actually my second time being here. Last time, I had the island to myself, which was really nice. But this time, obviously, there's a redneck couple here, which is regrettable because Florida rednecks are not very pleasant. I guess any rednecks aren't really pleasant. But yeah, so I'm going to explore the island again and just, I don't know, have fun. So I call this place Mangrove Island because of all the mangrove trees here. There is just a ton of black mangroves. As you can see, there's all the roots and stuff. As far as on land, on this island, like actually physically on the island, as far as I know, there's only one red mangrove, but it's still very small. But surrounding the island, there are tons and tons of red mangroves, which is awesome because they're my favorite type of mangrove. If you don't know, red mangroves are the kind that have the spidery roots, and black mangroves are the ones with roots that look like this. Look like they're sticking out of the ground, kind of like skinny cypress knees. But yeah, there's only one red mangrove on this island as far as I know, and it's very small. So I'm gonna see if I can find it. I found it last time completely by accident. I was just walking through the interior and there it was. This is where I found the red mangrove last time, in this little passageway. There's a much broader path over there by the grass, but I'm trying to see if I can find the red mangrove, so I'm going this way through the trees. So, news, I have found the red mangrove. Obviously not these. These are red mangroves. I'm sorry, black mangroves. Here it is. Just turn that bend and it's right here. When I first saw this, I wasn't 100% sure because it's still really small. But obviously there's a bunch of spidery roots, and there's also a bunch of other red mangroves in the area as well. Not on this island though. On the coast of the salt flats over there on the mainland. But yeah, there's a bunch of red mangroves surrounding the island, so it's not really a big surprise. But I was surprised the first time I found it because I hadn't seen any of those yet. Oh, I just saw this one too. This is the first time I've seen this one. That's awesome. Two red mangroves right next to each other. Yeah, in case you couldn't tell, the red mangrove is my favorite tree. So I made it to the south end of the island. And behind me, I don't know if you can see that or not, but there is just a gorgeous view of the city of St. Augustine. That is personally my favorite city. I'm a bit biased though. Yeah, but you can see the fort, downtown, and then the Bridge Alliance right over there. You can probably see the lighthouse from here as well on the island. Yep. Right in the middle. Yeah, last time when I came here, this is where I had lunch at the southern tip. But, I mean, I don't really want to have lunch here again because I had lunch here last time. So, I'm going to go find a different spot. I saw a really cool spot earlier by those red mangroves. So, I'm probably going to settle down over there and eat. That sign over there says manatee area. So, we'll probably have to come back winter sometime and kayak around here. So, it would be so awesome to see manaties. So, I found the spot for lunch, but I'm really reconsidering because this is where I would be sitting, and this is the view, which is nice. It's nice, don't get me wrong, but I feel like this island has some better views. So I'm going to reconsider my options and then maybe come back here. Found the perfect spot for lunch, and it's the exact same spot I was at earlier. So I ended up walking around for a little bit around the island, and there weren't a whole lot of other good lunch spots, and this one has shade. I'm sitting right under a mangrove tree, and if I go any further north, then I'm going to hear the rednecks blasting their country music, which they are actually doing, as rednecks do when they go to islands on boats. But yeah, this is a great spot. It's got shade, the sand is nice and cool, and view is okay. But there is one thing about it. I guess whoever owns this island has a mouse problem, because there's a bunch of these in the trees all over the place. There's one right there, there's one right there, there's one way back in the mangroves over there, and there's one right there, and they all have mouse traps on them. And I found this thing in the tree, which I googled it, and it's a high-tech mousetrap. So I guess whoever owns this island has a mouse problem or a rat problem, which doesn't really make any sense because there's nothing here. So I don't know why you would need a bunch of mousetraps in the trees, but I don't know. So let's see what I got for lunch and just what I brought along. I am using a Unigear dry bag, and in it I have snack bag. We'll get to that in a second. I just set it in my lap because if I don't, the ants will get it, because there are a bunch of ants all over the place. Bison binoculars. I'm not sure of all the specs, but all I know is that they're bison and they're really good. And then we have Gatorade that I bought at school today with my lunch. A thermos with Jesus on it. Of course, you always gotta have Jesus. And then I have a Write in the Rain journal that I use to catalog all my paddling expeditions. Florida bird checklist. And a Smokey the Bear handkerchief. Okay, inside the food bag, I brought 2 Uncrustables from home, 2 bags of Pirate's Booty from home, because I'm paddling to a sandy island in a tropical region, so you gotta have Pirate's Booty. And then this half of a giant cookie that I bought at school today for lunch. So, yeah, it's gonna be good. So I just finished lunch. It was great. I didn't eat very much though because that was more of like a snack because I already had lunch at school. But yeah, I don't really know what to do now. I've already there's nothing really I can do, but I don't want to leave the island because it's just so cool and I love it here. I mean, I would like to paddle around some, but I would also want to stay on the island, so I don't know. haven't really shown a whole lot of the north end of the island that much because of the rednecks. I don't really want to record in front of people. That'd be pretty weird, I guess. But they're just over the dunes, so they can't see me. But yeah, the north end is a lot more clear and open than the south end. Like, there's not a whole lot of mangrove trees. It's really duny. One thing that is great about the north end, though, is you can actually see the ocean, not just like the inlet and the intercoastal east of St. Augustine. Like, you can see straight out to sea. So, over to the left, that's the North Island, Vilano Beach, and to the south is Anastasia Island. That green part is actually Anastasia State Park because the residential area is right over there. Because there's this salt run that goes straight into the north end of Anastasia Island. So yeah, the state park and the residential area are kind of separated for a little bit. And there's the open ocean, straight out in the inlet. So there's this thing over on the north end of the island. I don't know what it's for. It's kind of soft. You think it would be hard, like cement, but it's actually kind of squishy. And it's actually like bolted into the ground, so it doesn't float. I have no idea what it's for. I guess maybe for when the tide is up, it's something to like show ships where land is or something, like where shallow water is, because that's pretty shallow. There's a whole like bay right there. So I don't know. So I have got the Oru kayak inlet, and it's actually pretty reliable so far. I haven't taken it in very rough waters. This is the roughest I've gone, which I'll show you how rough that is once I get on the water. Yeah, it's holding up really well. It's a bit flimsy though. I might post a full review, probably not though. Yeah, like I said, it's really reliable so far. But it's pretty flimsy and gets tossed around a lot actually, especially in this water. But this is borderline ocean water, and they say you're not supposed to be paddling around in this because it's a flat water kayak. But obviously I'm paddling around in this water anyways, so I don't know, I guess it's kind of my own fault that it's kind of flimsy and uncontrollable sometimes. But yeah, great boat. So this is the northern tip of the island. Very plain. Not as much vegetation as the south end, except for over there. And when the tide is at its lowest, you can walk over here. And I mean, you can still walk, it's just gotta get your feet wet a little bit. But last time I came, this was completely dry, and I was actually able to walk almost to the complete northern tip, which is fully populated by mangrove trees. So at high tide, this is as north as you can go. But at low tide, you can actually walk across the mangroves over there if you want to keep your feet dry. I mean, you can always just walk with your feet wet, but I don't really want to. There's a bunch of oysters right there. But yeah, last time I came, I was able to get pretty far north, over to almost to the complete northern tip. That was when the tide was low, but I can't walk over there right now. So I guess it's back to the boat and set sail. So earlier, after I left the island, I paddled south to St. Augustine, like 0.4 miles, and I only got to the fort because the water was so rough. It was like seawater, like actual seawater. So the boat was bouncing all around and stuff, and this happened to the bow bulkhead. Yeah, it came loose. So yeah, this boat is pretty flimsy in rough water, but it's supposed to be paddled in mirror smooth water, like it says. So yeah, keep that in mind if you're gonna paddle this into rough water. So something crazy just happened. I was paddling along, right? I was going back to the boat ramp on my way back, And then I was looking at these mangrove trees up here, just, you know, admiring them, because they're mangrove trees and they're awesome. And then, like, probably like 10 to 15 feet away from me, I see a dolphin fin come out of the water. And I'm just absolutely blown away because it's so close. And it just popped right up. And then I saw another one. So I was like, oh my gosh, I've gotta get a video of them. And so I followed them a little bit, and then I followed them down this creek. And yeah, I followed them down a creek that I was just at. So I had to go back down through the creek to follow them, try to get good pictures and videos. But yeah, it turns out there was actually 4 dolphins, at least. That's all that came out of the water that I saw. But yeah, that's so crazy. The first time it popped up, it was like 15 feet away from me, at max. That was so crazy.